Guys, I want to talk to you about a Ripple Connection question that I think could change the game in terms of how you connect to really get to know somebody that you are interested in connecting with at a deeper level, but you just don't know how. If you're new around here, I'm Steve Harper. I turn ordinary connections into extraordinary relationships. How do I do that? I help individuals and corporations identify, develop, and grow the key relationships they depend on for their success. So, what is this question? Well, as many of you know, I have a whole host of Ripple Connection questions that I use to really help me engage in conversation, get to know somebody better. But I was actually with someone that I've known a very, very long time, and we'd lost touch a little bit, and he'd moved away, but was in town recently, and we sat down, had a cup of coffee. And I gotta say, I was a little nervous because even though we've talked a few times on Zoom and we've actually sort of rekindled this friendship, getting together face to face, I felt like I needed something. And he's making some shifts in his career path and where he's going and what he's doing. And he's had some exciting times. He's had some challenging times. And I wanted to hit this conversation up from a different perspective. Not just like, hey, catch me up on the new thing, the new venture. Tell me how that's going now, man. And then sit there intently drinking my coffee. I wanted to do it different. And so I asked him this question. So if you weren't doing what you're doing now, what would you be doing? And he got this absolute mischievous smile on his face. He's like, you're rippling with me right now. You're rippling with me, right? Yeah, rippling with you. And he said, well, honestly, I've been working on this little side hustle project for a while, and I just haven't had the cojones to launch it. And so he tells me what he would much rather be spending his day doing than what he's doing now. And I'm like, why aren't you doing that? And he said, well, I got responsibility. I got kids in college. I got a mortgage. I need to be responsible. And I'm getting to the point that, maybe that entrepreneurial dream thing is not in the cards for me. And I just looked him in the eye and I'm like, is that 100% bullshit that you are like serving up? And he's like, what? What are you talking about? I mean, dude, what the hell? You are probably one of the most interesting, amazing, and successful business guys I know who has always been an entrepreneur. You just have been doing it inside of other organizations that you work for. You have been an entrepreneur. You have started new divisions. You have created new services and offerings for the companies that you've worked for, and you've been successful every step of the way. And here you are telling me, just before I ask this question, how this latest venture is paying you a lot of money to sort of semi-retire from what they're doing because, you've set them in motion to be successful in the future. You have the time, you have the money. Why are you drilling back into an environment that you're building a business for someone else? He looked at me, and it was as if Moses himself had come down and said, part the Red Seas. Oh my God, I had not looked at it like that. He didn't really look at me like that, but in my mind, this is how it was going down, right? And he smiled, and he said, Steve, you know what? You're right. Why would I not do it? And so we started mapping out all the things that he would like to be doing on a daily basis that would help him get closer to launching this thing, this idea, which is a good one, by the way. And he realized that he didn't need to go the traditional route of entrepreneurship, which is to have a great idea, go find somebody to fund it, and pray like hell it goes. He had the money. He's got a nice little bankroll that he could put behind this. He's got some flexibility in how life has kind of afforded him the circumstances he has. Here he was about to take this, this next job, which basically was just another repeat of what he's done. And he could already see himself having just really spent some time with this organization, just being back to the same miserable bastard he's been for 6 months, 6 years, 16 years. Not to say that he hasn't enjoyed what he's done, but really at the end of the day, he really wants to do something different. So what would you be doing differently if you were working on your own venture was my follow-up. What would this trip have meant to you to come back to Austin, to have these meetings, to do these things? And before you knew it, pages and pages of items that he needed to look at, follow up on, action items that he needed to take in order to make this thing a reality, protections that he had already started that he really needed to follow through with his attorney. And he needed to have a very important conversation with his wife and say, this is what I want to do. This is where I want to go. And yes, there's a risk, but I think even with this being a risk, we can do it. Even if it fails, I know that I will get another job doing what I have always done. But give me 6 months, give me a year. And he walked out of that coffee meeting, I think 10 feet tall. And I think it all came down to that ripple connection question. We never would have taken the conversation in the direction that we would have. He would have probably ended up telling me about the new company he was going to work for, telling me about the day-to-day grind that it was going to be, telling me about why he would end up having to come in and change everything that they're doing because he could see that their leadership was already just really short-sighted. And it would have been the same conversation we'd had, I don't know how many times in the past 16 to 20 years. But that one question, it changed everything. And when you want to get good at connecting with somebody brand new or somebody that you've known forever, that's what it takes, is a question to shake things up, because it can change everything. It can change the telemetry of the conversation. It can allow you to be more intentional about where you can add value to that person's life or where you can contribute to their professional success. It allows them to venture into territories that have been previously unknown because nobody asks us anything of real meaning anymore. And so that question completely changed the course of our conversation. What I expected to be a 45-minute coffee, squeezing in some time for me while he had a busy set agenda, all of a sudden turned into an hour and a half, and he was texting somebody like, hey, I'm gonna be late, or I'm not gonna even make that meeting. And he pings me back a couple of days after he gets back to where he lives now, and he said, hey, I called him and I told him I am gonna pass on the job and I'm gonna pursue my venture. I am super pumped, I'm super excited. I can't wait to see how this unfolds. That's what a ripple is. The power of connection, what it can be, and the difference that you can make if you go into every situation, every circumstance, every environment with it looking to connect it a little bit different way, looking for an opportunity to make a difference, and who knows what comes of that. In this case, another really good idea will come to market soon, and I'll be the first one to line up to buy it. Think about that. More importantly, apply it. Go use it. And as always, ripple on.